Hello there, and welcome to MewtwoMoney. As always, I'll start off with this. Intelligence over instinct. Created to think, not to react. And with that, let's review the first thing today, which is going to be Bitcoin. Now, we mostly will discuss Pokemon, but you have to understand that Pokemon, unfortunately, is affected by broader markets. And the first thing, if the broader markets are doing bad and nobody has money to eat, they will not have money for luxury products like Pokemon. Now, because we're maturing in Pokemon and things are becoming more tradable, the market that exists at card shows could sustain to counter that argument. But like we saw in 2021, we could see another crash like this. Not as terrible, but very similar. Alright, so what are we looking at today? So this chart is very simple. When we're green, we're in an uptrend. When we're red, we're in a downtrend. And this chart covers the entire history of Bitcoin. And as you can see, this yellow line over here, this acts as our market support. And when we come and test this line, if we are above it and we successfully exceed above it, the likely is that we will continue higher. But as you see on the bottom here, this is called volume. And if I stretch the chart out a little bit, you'll see these are all red or green bar. You want bullish volume, which is the green bars. So essentially what that means is that there are points where we do come back and test this line, but we are late in the market cycle, so any bounces above this line are very weak. And as you can see, this is notated with the red and green phases that we go through. This is a lagging indicator though, so it doesn't turn green until we've confirmed tests above the line. But at that point, the bull market technically had already started. And you see that with multiple cycles here, that the bull market generally starts when the green starts, but sometimes it doesn't start until a little bit later. So what just happened now? Let's look at today. Today, Bitcoin just, and this is the weekly chart, Bitcoin just became red. And red, like I said, means we broke through the yellow line here. We didn't hold it as support. So now any bounces from here will likely trend to this yellow line, which is right now at 100k, and reject. And as you can see down here, at the beginning of this run, we had some bullish green candles here, and then closer up here was green, so this signaled continuation. Now we're red, lots of selling, a lot of people exiting the market. Any pumps from here are likely just going to lead to things just dumping lower. What does that mean for the Pokemon market? Well, it could mean one of two things. We do something crazy and decouple from everything else, or we follow what the other markets are doing and have a cool off phase. So you could short-term flip cards right now if you'd want to. There is still opportunity for that. But then after that, it will be less of a flipping opportunity and more of an accumulating opportunity. So now let's get to the butter and meat of the video, or whatever that saying is. As always, make sure you subscribe, you hit the bell button, and you say all. Okay, today we're gonna look at a very undervalued card in my opinion, and a card that you should consider picking up, but not just this card, any cards in this rarity. Alright, and I'll share the link to this in the description. This is essentially just hit rate for the Sun and Moon sets. I scrolled down to Unified Minds, and we're gonna focus on one rarity right here, which is the Rare Rainbow. These are the hardest cards you can pull in this set. What is the one top card in that set that you could pick up right now? Mewtwo and Mew GX Secret Rainbow. So this is a Rainbow Secret Rare. Near mint holofoil, $300. We are in an overall uptrend, but if you switch to the yearly chart, it didn't really start going that crazy until maybe June, July. Price charting isn't as reliable, but we can probably see the same thing here. We had this initial peak in the last cycle at 500, and then we trended down. The lowest you could have picked this card up in a PSA 10 was in the end of 2023 into 2024 at 250 bucks, right? Imagine that. So we broke past the previous peak, which was around 600 bucks, and right now we're in this cooling at around 700 to 800. This looks like a great chart to me. We had a slight pump up, but it's had time to be traded around to build a floor, and the fact that Unified Minds and Tag Team cards are already going crazy with the illustration rares, when the market finally corrects and the value of things is more towards the true rarity of it, along with the artwork, of course. The problem with this card is that a lot of people don't like 5-band graphics in their 3D model type cards, but listen, I love to love what people hate, if that makes sense. So I've been going crazy with all these GXs, full art rainbows, gold cards, because those are cheap right now. So to me, it makes absolutely no sense that rainbow secret rares, which are the hardest to pull, if we take a look at PSA population, right? The two things that you can look at are the gem rate percentage, which is what some people use to value a card. If it's harder to get a PSA 10, that drives up the value. The overall population is generally not that important, as you know, because some people resubmit grades. So the overall population might be a little bit of a misinformation, but even then, we only have 2,500 of this card in population, and there's very little Unified Minds product out, and odds are there's more sealed collectors now buying cases and hoarding them rather than pulling them. And you want to realize that at some point the market hype is gonna die out and true kings will rise. I'll put it that way. Below 1,000, this card, in my opinion, is an easy $5,000 card. And with that, I'll end it off with a collector chart. Some people use alt, some people use collector. They're both mobile apps. You'll see a better chart in the mobile app. We've been steady since the end of 2024. It's just been a very steady rise. This card has been very low key. No one is seeing what's happening here because it's making moves very quietly. And here we are. Now, this is its first yell to the world saying, hey guys, look at me. I am true scarcity. High value collectors and investors. I should be appealing to you. And this is the rise that we see here. Now, the graded PSA graded price is gonna follow a little bit what Bitcoin's been doing. This card will definitely surpass this again in the future. And if you can pick it up sub 1,000, there's definitely going to be buyers willing to pay. For me though, this is a long term hold. For short-term flip, this is also a play. But when it comes time to accumulate, you know what to do. And with that, I'll end it off with a high five from Mew. Give him a high five, buddy.